Hey guys, so if the first component had more to do with strength and building a capacity of strength that's going to give you the most comfortable, capable, and resilient life, the second category has more to do with flexibility. What capacity of being able to move freely is going to be helpful for that good, capable life. And we could break this component down into three parts, three general statements. The first one being, you should be able to touch your toes but not palm the floor. Now, why you should be able to touch your toes is fairly intuitive to most folks. If you can't do it, you're going to get a problem, because in trying to get to the ground, you're going to have to do something really awkward and probably pull, throw something out, or maybe even lose your steadiness in trying to do it. So we want that capability to get there. But we don't want to be able to go beyond it, because if you can go beyond it, then you're able to sort of tilt and lean your car beyond a point where it has leverage. So that's where it's not helpful to be able to palm the floor. It's valued in certain sort of sectors or walks of physicality. Some people really value being able to palm the floor, but it doesn't tend to lead to a good life, because you're going beyond where your structure has leverage to be able to pull yourself back, to be able to lift a weight from the ground and be able to react in a way that's going to keep your body steady. So it's not useful to have, and there's oftentimes value with being able to tighten that up a bit. Now, the second component of flexibility would be, well, yes, it's good to be able to touch your toes, but it's also important that you can squat all the way down to the ground with your feet flat. Being able to touch your toes is being able to relax your backside and kind of compress your front and just go to that point where you're going to have leverage and you're going to have some strength. Being able to squat all the way down to the ground with your feet flat is really being able to control that same movement and be able to hold steady in that low resting position that's fairly normal, it's fairly natural for a human being. So we should be able to touch our toes but not palm the floor, and we should also be able to squat to full depth with our feet flat and relax there for a period of time. The third and final part of this flexibility component, this flexibility capacity that we're going to want to have, has a lot more to do with what your shoulder girdle is able to do. Now, the first part has a lot to do with reaching your arms away in front of you. This third part has more to do with reaching your arms back. And so the general rule would be that you should be able to reach your arms back behind you and then overhead big enough so that you can't see your hand or your elbows, but and reaching back, you're able to feel your shoulder blades engage. So there are plenty of people that have got a lot of flexibility to reach back, but their chest is not opening in order to allow it. So they're kind of getting there in an awkward way for their shoulders. So the rule would be is that you should be able to reach behind you and overhead fully, big enough so that you cannot see your hands or your elbows, any of your arms if you're looking forward, and you can feel the muscles in your upper back between your shoulder blades doing the work to get you there. And so those three parts of flexibility, being able to touch your toes but not go any further, being able to squat fully to the ground with your feet flat and relax there, and being able to reach your arms behind you and overhead so far that it's no longer in your vision and you can feel some pretty important stuff doing the work for you. Those are the three parts to general flexibility that's going to give you a capacity to move freely, that's going to give you a really good, comfortable life. Now, there are a bunch of ways to go about getting that back if you've lost it, and maintaining it if it's something that you do have. And those are things that I'll go on about later. But for now, just remember those three parts to general flexibility that's going to be helpful for you to have a good life.